Hey, everyone, welcome. It's a brand new year here on the Business Shenanigans Network. We have Get Off My Lawn today. I'm Trent May from May Financial Group. With me, as always, on all my shows, Mahmoud Boutam from Sprout Digital, your Moroccan superhero.
Hello, hello.
And of course, the star of the show. He's got his special helper right behind him, Rick Garrett from the Rick Rambles podcast. How's it going, Rick?
It's good, and CAT is up over my shoulder. He's all excited about getting with you guys today. Haven't seen you in a couple weeks. He says, I want to see my buddies from Ohio.
Yeah, we kind of took the year, like the end of year off, and I full disclosure, I've been under the weather and holidays, and it was just a good time to take a couple weeks off there. So, but we're back at it today. Mahmood kind of suggested as the topic. I don't think he was serious, but new year, new me.
Yeah. Hashtag New Year, New Me. Well, since it's a trending topic, I mean, yeah, let's tackle it. Like, well, we can have the pros and cons and everything, and maybe I'll change my mind about.
It sounds like something if you put that into Instagram, I bet like 1,000 Instagram girlfriends pop up like automatically.
Oh my gosh, I'm sure that's trending on Twitter also. I don't know how many tweets there may be for a New Year, New Me. Well, you know what? Let's just look that up.
Hashtag New Year.
Let's see.
You have Instagram girlfriends, you have housewives, and you have I'll tell you right now, you have guys in their early 20s and you have guys in their mid 40s. That's who you have in that demographic.
Yep. There's 2 million posts with the hashtag New Year, New Me on Instagram. 2 million.
So, Mahmoud, did you make a New Year's resolution?
No.
Or was it just to be more like yourself?
I did not. I usually make resolutions whenever. Like, I just get mad at myself for, bad habits or whatever, and I just try to change them whenever I'm at.
I could totally see that. I could see you saying, okay, I don't like this about myself right now. I'm not waiting. I'm changing this today.
Yeah, I usually make changes. Like, it doesn't matter if it's New Year's or not New Year's. But to be fair, I do pick up. I do shake myself off or dust myself off every New Year's, just like everyone else. Like, all right, back to the drawing board. Let's go. Let's shake things up.
I'll ask you this though. You are pretty meticulous about like the diet and gym and like just your routines. You have certain routines that you like to do, like for your back, for your mind, all sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
You're pretty strict about those things just to make sure you stay on course. Do you unwind like maybe the last week of the year or the last couple days of the year? Do you cheat on your diet a little more? What's that like for you?
Oh yeah, big time. I'm a big glutton. That is actually one of the reasons why I'm pretty militant with my workouts and all that stuff. Because like cake, cupcakes, pasta. Like I don't eat like a normal human being. Like I gotta eat the whole plate. So that's kind of like me balancing off my gluttony. Yes, I do let loose, like on vacations or whatever. I'll eat whatever I want because I know later I'm gonna take care of it, or what I call earn it. You gotta earn your cheat meals. You gotta earn whatever you're doing. You gotta earn it. Like if I know I'm gonna have a big Thanksgiving meal or Christmas or whatever, like I'd go and run a couple miles, so I feel good about myself and I earned that meal. Instead of me going, oh, no, I'm going to diet. I'm going to cut off, no cake for me. No, thanks. No, I'm not going to do that. You only live once, eat whatever you want and need and go earn it.
I like it. How about you, Rick? Any resolutions? Oh, first, what did you find when you searched that?
So New Year, New Me, 300 tweets in the last hour with that hashtag. So 24 hours in a day times 300. Somebody that's 3,600? No. That'd be 36,000 tweets over the day.
And I'd be interested to see how that drops off.
Right. I'm sure as the day drops. And, probably there were a lot more on January 1st. It's the 3rd. So it's still trending. I don't really do resolutions, but often I'll try to last year I decided I really wanted to work on my photography skills. So, I spent a lot of the year, and my thing in photography is birds, wildlife, landscapes. And so I spent a lot of the year trying to improve those skills. And this year I've kind of decided I'd like to learn portrait photography. That looks really, really interesting to me. So, it's not really a resolution, but it's kind of like a new skill I think I would like to learn.
Nice.
So, last year my big two were really improving my photography skills and launching a podcast, which I did. And this year, just continue with the podcast and learn portrait photography. I think it's a real challenge to be creative and make people kind of look their best. So many pictures are just snapshots, but if you can find a way to get somebody's personality to come through, I think that's really creative and a real challenge to think in that way.
Mm-hmm. You'll have to show some off next week.
Oh, I'll do that. I'll do that.
Yeah, upload those for next week. That'd be great.
Yep, I think we should. You can also, I think it would be better, like for me as a novice photographer, it would be cool to like share what you found out. Like, hey, check out this setting. If I go to, the aperture is this, or whatever is
Right.
this, I get this kind of pop or this kind of bokeh, whatever. Kind of like share how you found those settings. I'm personally interested in that. Like when I see a really cool picture with a really nice bokeh and it pops, a portrait picture, I'm like, I want to know what kind of setting that camera is on, or kind of lens, or yeah.
Photography is a really interesting hobby because so much has become just like point and shoot. Everybody's got one of these in their pocket, and the cameras on phones are really pretty incredible. They're comparable to what, I might have spent $300 or $400 on just for the camera, 10 years ago. So much has become point and shoot. I think we've lost a little bit of the creative aspect of photography, partly because we're documenting like every second. We all have those Facebook or Instagram friends that, document every meal they have every second of their life. So
and everything is filtered out.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, I didn't make any resolutions. Again, that's not really new. I'm like Mahmood in a way where, in a way, but different as well. Mahmood sees a problem in himself and says, okay, I don't like this. I'm going to fix it. Mine is more, I have this thing I want to do in July, or I have this thing I want to do in October. So I need to sharpen this skill. So I'm ready for that thing in October. And so that's kind of what I've done. Sometimes I'll use January as a starting point just because it's a good starting point. Not only that, but like in my business, it seems to be like that's when a lot of people are doing things. Like people start the new year hot. They want to come in. They want to bring business. They want to do things with the business they already have. It just seems like that is I think during the holidays, people kind of turn off that part of their brain and they're not doing stuff with, productive because they're busy, working on the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And then January hits and they're like, okay, it's time to start working on these things.
Right.
And so I think that's us, especially with kids. Our holidays are pretty full. So usually, it's not usually the start of January. Usually like by mid-January, I'm like, okay, I have this coming up in July. I have this coming up in October. I want to look and feel a certain way for these things. I need to learn this and this for these things. So now it's time to create a path to make those things happen. It's usually I'm usually not organized enough to have it ready January 1st. It's usually like mid-January, like, okay, I have this coming up. This is what I need to do.
And that's a good way to go about it too.
It is. It is. It is. Do you guys know what the most? I actually talked about this on this week's podcast, but you know what the most popular New Year's resolution is in the United States? It has been for a number of years.
Losing weight.
Losing weight. That's absolutely the most popular one. And I read the stat, and it's like 78% keep that resolution for 2 weeks or less, and then are back to old habits.
That's why the summer is a great time to build a home gym, because people buy their equipment in December and January, and summer comes around, they do their spring cleaning and all that, and then they sell all the equipment they just bought.
I hadn't thought about that, but that's a fantastic, I mean, if you're looking for like an exercise bike, a treadmill or something like that, you can buy it then and then have it for when winter sets in.
Yeah. Also, the gym is a nightmare in January. I'm dreading going today. I haven't gone today. I'm going to go in the afternoon. Man.
So on Mondays, I go when my daughter has gymnastics. And so that's like peak time. So like I am dreading today.
Yeah, tonight may be a real challenge.
But they disappear like mid-February. Like it goes back to normal again.
Right, 6 to 8 weeks is the average length of a New Year's resolution, no matter what it is. Whether it's a lot of some of the more popular ones, losing weight we mentioned, quitting smoking is another big one. One of the ones that made the top 10 list was one that kind of baffles me, and that is to live your best life. And that's such like an open-ended. I think resolutions, if we're going to call them that, work best when you have some concrete goals. Like, I want to ride my bike 150 miles in this month, or, I want to run this many miles. Those are concrete goals, but, live your best life is just so
broad.
There's
no way to quantify that.
Mm-hmm.
And it really goes against Rick, I'm sure you're aware of this. It goes against, and Mahmoud, you'll have to tell us aspects that you've learned about this too. That really goes against the Christian faith. We're not to live our best life now. Our best life is yet to come.
That's an excellent point. That's an excellent point.
Well, the problem is with like living your best life is we have been struggling since Internet 2.0 started. There was the first internet, which is just like, military is using it, the stock market is using it, whatever. And then 2.0 started kind of with Facebook, like 2007, 2004. That's when Internet 2.0 started. And that's when we've been struggling to live our best life.
Oh, yeah.
Because people abandoned all their fun activities and they picked up scrolling. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. And everyone now goes back to, I want to live my best life. And it's kind of like really hard to go to because we are kind of compromised, like our daily habits are compromised by these machines. And the damage is semi-permanent. Some of the damage is semi-permanent. Like
there's no going back.
There's no there is some going back, but not to like before Internet 2.0.
No.
So living our best life is like we're chasing a dream pipe? What do you call it? Chasing a
pipe dream,
catch 22, whatever. Yeah, whatever you want to call it. Pipe dream, right?
I think that's got to be our topic for next week. The activities, our daily activities that the smartphone has changed for the worse or the better.
Yeah. That's a fantastic topic for next. I love that. Somebody write that down
all day.
We can definitely talk about it, but just to finish that point, living our best life, when you translate it, it's pretty broad, just like you said, Rick. When you break it down, it just breaks down to regular activities that we enjoyed. But all those activities kind of got eaten up by our phones. So you're doing something, you got to record it. You want to look at your face, you don't grab a mirror. You grab your phone and you turn on the camera. You want to write something, you write on your phone, like a note, you write it on your phone. So when the phone replaces a lot of the stuff that we use on a daily basis, now it's infringing on our habits. And sometimes you find yourself like, hey, I want to put a note in here. and then half an hour later you're like, I was supposed to put a note in my phone. What was it? Because you opened your phone and something caught your attention and you followed that rabbit hole and you completely forgot about what you were supposed to do. Or I wanted to call my mom. That's living my best life, and then something caught, like now, yes, this is helping us with our life, but at the same time, it's infringing on our daily habits and messing up our best life.
Yeah, I can't wait for that discussion next week because you're spot on with that, Mahmood. Like I was just, and I'll save the bulk of this story for next week. But I was just talking with someone about trying to watch a movie with people, and like half of the room isn't even watching the movie; they're listening to the movie while looking at their phone.
Right.
And it's like, wow, did you see that? That's cool. And everyone looks up and they're like, what?
Yeah. I want to put another teaser for the next episode. Remind me to talk about this thing.
What's that?
I'll talk about it next week. This is really cool. It goes kind of with living your best life.
Okay.
Everyone should get one of these, but we'll talk about it next week.
Always up for some good tips. The other thing is that it's back in my day, because I'm a lot older than either one of you guys. There were no instant responses.
Mm-hmm.
We would write a letter and we would mail it, and it would take a few days to get there. And then, somebody would have to take the time to respond, and it would be a few days more to get back to us. I was talking with a friend of mine about this just the other day. Comic books. If you look at comic books from the 1960s, they had all these ads in the back for X-ray glasses and all kinds of stuff like that. And you had to send off for that. And it always said allow 6 to 8 weeks for delivery. And, we were okay with that. But now people want a response, right away. They think the minute they hit send on that email or that instant message, you should get a notification and respond right away. It's really warped our perception, I think, of what is important.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so let's put a bow on this.
Okay.
New year, new me.
New year, new me.
I know you guys, it sounds like none of us really make resolutions, but if you wanted to acquire a new skill this year, what are you going to acquire? What's your plan going to be?
It's a better question than resolution for sure. Yeah, like what skill? Because to achieve something, you got to change yourself and then do and then achieve. So yeah, getting a goal will change who you are. Like every time you get a skill, it changes who you are because you have another tool in your tool belt.
So I can start. I'll give you two a chance to think. So mine is, and I don't think she watches, so I think it's safe to say, but I really want to take my wife to Paris sometime. It's probably going to be years down the road because they're on lockdown and everything. I don't want her first trip to France to be with a mask on. So I'm going to start slowly learning French. I think it's a beautiful language, and I don't want to be a complete tourist when I show up there.
Yep.
So I'd like to at least be able to communicate with the vendors and everything.
Yes, I
in
agree.
their own language. So
you should definitely, because especially with the French, they're pretty patriotic with their language, just like the Spanish too. So you do want to have that, let's call it linguistic courtesy. Like when you go to their country, at least you have some survival French, kind of get a beer, I'm hungry, which way is the bathroom, all that stuff needs to be in your back pocket.
I don't know how accurate this is, but there was an episode of Modern Family where it's like everyone who was wearing jeans, they would like approach a French person and they're like, the McDonald's is over there. They just knew from the jeans that they were American.
Maybe they were regular Wranglers, not skinny jeans. That's why. They were boot cut.
Boot cut, okay. And you know French, right, Mahmoud?
Yeah, I taught it for 4 years, 5 years, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to be a French teacher back in another life.
Do you have a recommendation for like an app or a program? Like I was gonna do like Duolingo, but
You can definitely do Duolingo, but that's more for. I would leave Duolingo for when you get to Paris.
okay.
Like that's what you're going to be using on a day-to-day basis. But if I were you right now,
I have a couple years here. At
oh, you have a
least.
couple of years. Yeah. Try switching your Facebook to French for like a week. I know it's scary, but you'll be totally fine because
Like,
you know where everything is.
Will I be able to switch it back? That's the
Oh
thing.
yeah,
Okay.
dude, I'll do it for you if you can't. But you'd be surprised. You know where everything is, so you will not be lost. You'll be like, wait a second, I'm not lost. This is in a completely different language, but I'm still good. You'll be fine. Just switch that. Pick up maybe a couple of instead of watching like an episode of something in English, like on Netflix. Just switch it to French and put English subtitles and see how that goes.
Okay.
And then you keep adding, like listen to a song in French on YouTube with English subtitles and see how that goes. And
so I'll just watch my Bob's Burgers in French.
Yes,
with the English subtitles.
Yeah, preferably an episode you've already watched in English.
I'll learn by watching Bob's Burgers. That's how I'm going to do this.
I love it.
I'm going to learn French by watching Bob's Burgers.
Yes.
I love it.
I've always told my students, you can take 2 specimens, you give one, 2 semesters of French, and you give the other one 1 week in France. Which one's going to learn more French? The person who spent a week in France, because it's immersive. There's no escape. When you have French in a book, you close the book and you put it away and you go about your day. So yeah, just keep immersing yourself little by little. I would even switch your phone into French and see how that goes for you, because you know where everything is. You're not going to be lost. Switch your Facebook to French, switch your Netflix to French, and keep adding. And 3 months from now, you'll find yourself in a completely different position.
Cool.
That's fascinating. I love that idea.
Yeah, that's what I did with Spanish for like a year, just to brush up a little bit back in the day. Yeah, it's awesome. You'd think that it's gonna be scary, like switching your phone to French or Spanish or whatever. It's like, how am I gonna fix that? It's fine. It's totally fine, because our brain is not following the language. It's following like, what do you call it? Muscle memory or whatever. You know where everything is, and now you're like, oh, so quit is quitter, and this is that, and your brain starts to make those connections.
I think French
fascinating.
is beautiful, and I definitely want to take Anna there. I think after that, if I'm up for it, I really, really love the Italian language.
Yeah, so musical, like it's got a tone to it. Yeah, a musical tone to it.
And I love The Godfather. So, all right, who's up next?
Corleone. Who's up next?
What skill's going to be sharpened this year?
So I'll go on and say, I already mentioned portrait photography. That's one that I'll be working on. And, to accomplish that, I've signed up for a couple of forums and a free online class, to kind of help me with that. Just read a lot. But the biggest thing is practice. You can read everything, you can listen to every lecture, but unless you put it into, unless you actually do it, it's not going to do me any good. So that's my big one for this year. And my secondary one, which it's not a huge stretch, but I do a big charity bicycle ride every September for Children's Cancer Society, and I did 200 miles last year now, and I'm upping that to 250 miles this year. So that'll just take a little more preparation, a little extra riding. So there you go, Mahmoud. I think it's over to you.
250 miles, man, I can't top that. I'm gonna work on my family skills this year. So the goal is to hire some people, work on my sales skills. That's the goal I'm trying to hit this year's sales. I want to pull away from project management and have someone really good at project management doing that, because I suck at it. And then my skill this year is fatherhood, like being a father, and being a husband. I want to work on that a little bit. Yeah, I know it doesn't have to do with work, but I'm trying to get the work part going, put the right people in place, work on my sales skills so I can sell more, and then I also want to really work on the family side.
I love it. And when you get the right people in the right places, where they should be, that helps so much. And it's hard as a small business owner to do that because each person you hire, that takes a little bit away from you. Yes. But also in a good way, that takes a little bit away from you. Where
there's a churn for me. The issue is the churn. Like you hire, you train, and then they leave, and then you hire and you train, and then they leave. So trying to find some solid people to put in place, work on my sales skills, because that's something I'm kind of struggling with recently, like the networking part, the selling. And dedicating more family time. I did not do that this year as much as I wanted, especially with young kids. So I'm going to try and do that.
Love it.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah. Well, they say every day your kids are a day older. So that's kind of like, that was a scary thing to hear from me. Like, oh my gosh, that is true. Every day they're a day older. And
right.
Yeah, time is running fast.
Yeah, someone approached me just randomly on a beach one time and said, go to YouTube and look up Your Life and Jelly Beans. I'm like, I think not. Like, I'm not going to watch that video because I know where that leads. So
Your Life and Jelly Beans.
So, I don't need another reminder of how little time I have.
Another skill I'm working on is organization for sure. I'm not an organized person. I'm pretty scattered. So I'm working on cutting down on paper, Post-it notes, and just consolidating all my organization into one. Like one. I got this guy here. It's like an electronic notepad to replace those yellow ones. Because I filled like 100 of those and it drives me nuts, plus Post-its, plus everything. So that tells you how organized I am.
I really love Notability on the iPad.
Oh,
yeah. Apple Pen?
No, I do not. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great way to...
Right. And it also turns like handwriting into text, right? Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah, you can like take a note and then you turns it into text and then you can turn it into a PDF and email it to yourself or whatever. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
It is. All right. Well, that is it for this week. We're going to be back next week.
Really looking forward to next week's episode. That's going to be a fun one.
We are going to riff and complain about smartphones and technology, which is really what the premises of this show really should be about, is us complaining about technology when you look at the title.
Yep.
All right, guys, don't jump off right away.
Okay.
Thank you all for watching.
See ya.